Jacob Burton here from StellaCulinary.com, and in this video, we're going to go over the technique of deboning and Frenching a chicken leg and thigh that you can then stuff and present like this, which we're going to do in part 2 of this video. But first, we need to learn the basic Frenching and deboning technique. So to start, take your knife, cut directly down to the bone right above that first leg joint, and you're going to cut all the way around the bone, making sure that you're detaching the skin and any connective tissue. Grab that nub with a towel and give it a nice good pull. And she's going to use a little bit of muscle power and give it a pull, and you're going to get a nice clean nub just like that for presentation purposes. Flip the leg and thigh skin side down, and using short, shallow strokes, you're going to cut along the top side of that bone, of the thigh bone, and then get your knife underneath that top portion of the thigh bone and basically detach it from the thigh flesh. Now I'm going to continue to work my knife down along the side of that bone and underneath it, and you always want to flex your knife or the edge of your knife towards the bone. That way if your knife slips or if you cut a little too far, you're only going to cut the bone, you're not going to chunk the meat. Now once you've exposed the portion where the thigh bone connects to the leg bone, you just want to work your knife blade in between that joint and detach the thigh bone. Now from here you're going to continue down exposing that joint, and there's really no easy way of doing it. It's going to take some practice, and the best thing I can tell you is you're just going to work your knife tip along that bone, underneath it to detach that joint from the actual flesh. And again, always flexing towards the bone, and you will have some pieces of cartilage like this that stick to the meat. But really, one of the things that you really want to keep in mind is using very shallow strokes and being controlled with those strokes. And if your knife is razor sharp and you're using shallow strokes, then you're not going to chunk the meat. Now, once you've cut around that top joint and release the flesh from that joint, you're going to be able to start tunneling the leg bone, which means you're going to be able to make a pocket by pushing the leg bone through. So first, you want to make sure that you take off any excess cartilage at the top here, that I'm going to use my knife and just kind of get in there. And then it's pretty soft, so it shouldn't be a big issue. Now, you do want to be aware of this pin bone that it attaches to the side of this chicken leg. And you want to just kind of work your knife in between the pin bone and the main bone and give it a tug. And you want to remove that pin bone and discard it. Now, here you basically see I've pushed that bone through the leg meat. And the reason why I'm able to do that is because that top portion of the joint, that knee joint, is no longer fully attached to the chicken flesh. So I can actually push it through and make a tunnel. And at this point, you can bundle it up like this. You can stuff this with, onions, force meat. You can stuff it with mushrooms, whatever you want to stuff it with, really. And you can serve it like that, and that's just an option. Now, another way to do this, which I think is kind of a nifty little trick, is I'll actually detach the skin from the thigh meat, and I will continue to pull that skin backwards, making sure to keep it nice and whole. You don't want that skin to tear or to rip on you. Now, once you've completely detached the chicken skin from the thigh meat, you're going to detach the thigh meat itself, and this is going to leave you with a nice pocket that you can now stuff. And so in the next video, we're actually going to take the thigh meat, we're going to dice it up, season it just real simply, and then stuff it into the leg. For a link to part 2 of this video and additional information, check out this episode's show notes at StellaCulinary.com/CKS43.